Good day, parents. If you've ever looked at your child and thought, this child is intelligent, I know they are, but their results are just not showing it, this video is for you. My name is Frances Hammond, and I'm the founder and CEO of Parenting Bloom Institute and Little Leaders Mentorship Academy. And today I'm going to look at why smart children fail at school. Trust me, this class is for you, and I promise you, it's not what you think it is. So, sometimes you observe your children and you realize that from the way they behave or the way they do whatever they're tasked to do, you can find some level of smartness in there. However, this smartness does not translate academically, and you wonder what is going on or what is wrong with the child. Join me as we look at some of the reasons why this happens and what you can do about them. So first things first, point number 1. Many homes, especially African homes, run on fear. Many homes run on fear. And then sometimes as parents, you hear say things like, do well or face the consequences, or bring home a bad grade and everything will scatter in this house. And as parents and caregivers, we usually say these things to motivate our children. Do you get it? We do these things to motivate our children. However, research has made us know that the opposite or something else is really happening, because a child who is afraid of failing doesn't try harder. Unfortunately for us as parents and caregivers, that child will usually shut down and stop taking risks. So you say things like do well or face the consequences to your child in order for the child to be motivated to learn more or be motivated to pass their exam. From your end or from your point of view, you want to motivate the child to learn. But from the child's point of view, it's so much pressure on them. And unfortunately, the motivation to learn entirely stops. So for children like that, they would rather keep mute than say the wrong thing in class or be embarrassed. And also we have raised children who are so terrified of failure. So instead of raising children who are curious about learning, who want to put their best foot forward, it's like we've made them shrink into their shell. And they're so terrified of failure. Rather than making an attempt to answer a question or do an assignment or do a work and fail, they'd rather sit on the fence. And a child who is not willing to try, unfortunately, cannot grow. A child who is not willing to try cannot grow. And so if you are a parent here and you are listening to this class and you usually say these things to your children and attempt to motivate them to learn, today we are debunking all of those things. We are letting you know as parents and caregivers that it's rather creating the opposite in your children. It's creating the opposite in your children. So if you are fond of saying these things, please try and put a stop to it, because our aim is to raise wholesome children who not only thrive in the home environment, but in the school environment as well. So whatever you do in your house matters as much as whatever is done in the school area. Point number 2. Today I just want to go straight to the point with parents, because I usually have a lot of parents in my DM saying, oh, Coach Fran, I like your videos, but they are too long. Oh, Coach Fran, can you reduce it for us a little? So today, I'm just trying to, make everything quick for parents so that they can watch and learn and implement, and then we keep going. We have our upcoming masterclass in July. And so we are running this back to school series to prepare parents for what is coming. And in our masterclass, we'll not only talk about how to raise a child who is not intelligent, but raising children who are equipped emotionally, mentally, and academically for their best school year yet. And so the registration is, the investment fee is 200 cedis. The numbers are on the flyers in on our social media pages. Payments can be made to myself 0249333899. And as I've already said, the investment is only 200 cedis. We want to equip parents for them to further equip their children for the school year. And that is why we are holding this back to school masterclass very early, for parents to have enough time to implement whatever they learn there. So if you are getting value from this free back to school series, trust me, you do not know what is going to happen in the real masterclass itself. So do well to invest in the lives of your children by registering for this class, and wait for July to make its way. Point number 2. As parents, we focus on grades over everything. We focus on grades over everything. I usually talk about English and maths. I talk about parents only focusing on English and maths. And when we're growing up, especially as millennial parents, we hear things like, oh, hurry up, read, pass your exam, and then get a job. Read, pass your exam, and then get a job. And even when you bring your report or anything related at home, they're not looking at the process which made you get to where you got to, but they're looking at the final results. Why did you get this grade? Why did this happen? The person who was first, did they have 2 heads? Do you think I don't have anything proper to do with my money? All of those things. So instead of focusing on grades, instead of focusing on the process, we rather focus on grades. And so you realize that in most of our homes, the conversation after school is, oh, what did you get in today's test? Did you pass? What position are you right now? And unfortunately for us as parents and caregivers, we tend to lose sight or focus on what is important. We rarely ask questions like, what did you learn today? What was hard today? What are you curious about? What did you enjoy today? What did you learn today that you did not know before? Questions like this to spark conversations. But I really focus on what was your grade in maths, what was your grade in English. If you're a parent and you're listening to me, at PBI, at Francis Bloom Institute, we believe in grades, but we also believe in other things other than grades. If you look at yourself as a millennial parent or from the booming generation or whatever, you realize that the focus only on grades did a great disservice to us as children at the time when we were being raised. Because it made us tend to performers who are only supposed to bring good grades home. And if you are the unfortunate child who does not bring good grades home, you are just doomed, that it's over for you. But that's not what it's supposed to be. As parents, you are supposed to focus on other things other than the grades. Are grades important? Yes, they are. Without good grades, you're not going to go to the next level. You cannot even apply to senior high and university, assuming all things are equal. We know what goes on behind closed doors, but this is not what this conversation is about. Basically, you need good grades to go to the next level or the next stage in any academic institution. So yes, even though grades are important, there are other important things too. And that is what I want you to pay attention to. So sometimes your child may be smart, but they might be failing at school because of your focus only on grades. When a child's only value in their home is tied to their grades, the moment they struggle academically, they feel worthless. And a child who feels worthless stops trying. They totally stop trying because I'm used to being performative. I'm used to performing. And maybe this time around, because of XYZ issues, I didn't put my best foot forward and I didn't get the grade I deserve. So I think I'm worthless. So do you see why focusing on grades make your children worthless, make your children feel worthless when things do not go their way? I don't know if you are seeing the picture as parents and caregivers. And by the way, if you are listening to this class, forward it to your parent circle, your Sunday school circle, your church circle, your school circle, children's school circle. Forward it to other parents as well, instead of talking about, things that might not be so important. Share this video with them so that they'll also learn what you are learning and you all progress together. So smart children fail because they cannot. Smart children fail not because they cannot learn, but because they have lost the motivation to. They have lost the motivation to. I've always been a high achiever. Now my grades are falling. I totally lose interest in anything academics because from my end, from my point of view as a child, I'm failing and I'm worthless. And so I totally stop trying. So these are some of the reasons why your smart child may fail at school. And when your child begins to feel worthless, they also tend to feel anxious, and this leads to other problems as well. So just by they not passing their exam or failing a particular test, they now become anxious, and before you realize, you have a host of other problems that came as a result of they not making the grade they wanted. And one of my favorite quotes is, "An anxious child cannot learn. Check their hearts before you check their bag." That is why you need to ask important questions like, what did you enjoy today? What did you learn today? What did you know today that you didn't know yesterday? What was challenging for you today? You are trying to communicate with their hearts. You are trying to enter their mind side to know what is going on, not just, did you pass? You see the difference now? Point number 3, comparison culture. It's like when God was creating the world, he gave African parents one handbook. Because it's like from generation to generation, these things are being passed down. And that is why at PBI, we have decided to raise intentional parents. We have decided to be intentional parents. We have decided to be the generational breakers. We're not going to compare our child or our children to other people, not even to their siblings, not even to us as parents. Comparison culture. Have you seen your sister's child? Have you seen your cousins? Have you seen your neighbors? Why can't you be like them? Do they have 2 words? It's like, do they have 2 words? It's written in every home. So we use other children as benchmarks, and we say it to sort of motivate our children. But what it actually does is to rather crush them. So, I don't know, it's like whatever we want to do, we tend to do the opposite of it. So if you want to motivate your child to learn, say, have you seen Ikea? Have you seen Nama? Can you see how Kofi aced his exam? Why can't you be like him? Don't you attend the same school? Don't the same teachers teach you? So from your point of view, you are doing that to let the child learn more or be motivated to put in the extra work, but you are rather crushing the child's spirit. You are crushing the child's spirit. So when a child constantly hears, why can't you be like so and so? Why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like that? They do not think I need to work any harder. They think I am just not enough. And a child who believes they are not enough will eventually stop showing up or stop trying. Comparison does not build children. It rather breaks them up. And if you think about it, you cannot really blame the children. Of course, they still have developing brains, so their way of thinking is not like we adults think. But if you are comparing me to someone and that person keeps doing better and I comparing me to that person, it's like I'm a failure, I'll totally stop trying because I know that no matter what I do, I will still not pass. You see, this masterclass I'm preparing for parents, the back to school masterclass, so no matter what you do not miss it because I'm going to break down certain things for you to understand. When we talk about going back to school, it's not about English and maths. It's not about afraid of school fees. I have a new lunch box, new potluck. My school bag is matching my lunch box. My shoe is matching my socks. But those are bare minimum. We are going to talk about what really matters most and what we unfortunately miss as parents and caregivers. And so get ready. For just 200 CDs, I'm going to change your mindset. I'm going to show you what to focus on. You are not ready for this class. Trust me when I tell you. And so yes, your children, they stop trying because, what's the point? Why should I keep trying? I'll never be like this person. I'll never match up to their standard. So if you're parents and you keep comparing your children, please try and put a stop to it. For your children's sake, for posterity's sake, put a stop to it. Because you're rather crushing your child. And I can't imagine parents or caregivers who change cities to dollars or pounds to pay school fees only for them to be crushing the child. You see how ironical that is? Yes. So I'm teaching you these things for you to learn from them so that you move from point A to point B. This class is about awareness. So I'm making you aware, because without awareness, there's no transformation. Point number 4. I'm going to give you 5 points, and we're already on point number 4. You see, I'm taking my time and taking it points by points because, as you requested, I do not want this class to be very long. Point number 4. And with this particular point, it's like in most homes, especially as Africans, it's missing. It's really missing. I don't know if it's because our parents grew up in the war era, and so this particular thing was missing from when they were growing up, so they couldn't give it to us. If you guessed no emotional support, you are right. Part of the reason why your smart child is failing at school is because there is no emotional support. And so there's absence of emotional support. School is not just academic. That's one thing I want parents to understand. School is not just about academics, because a lot of things happen within the 4 walls of the school that is not related to English and maths. Because school is social and emotional, you know. Children deal with friendship problems, bullying, teachers who embarrass them, subjects that confuse them, and most of them carry all these burdens alone. So if you reduce the relationship you have with the child, is did you pass, what was your grade, what was your position, I mean, you're doing a great disservice to that child, because the emotional weight that child is carrying, you have no idea. And until you lovingly probe, until you connect with your children to find out what is really going on, you will miss it as a parent. Oh yes, you will. You'll miss it as a parent. Because you took your child to school to learn about English and maths, but now they are dealing with bullying, they are dealing with friendship problems, they are dealing with teachers. As for the teachers, I mean, sometimes unknowingly, they do things they're not supposed to do. But you see, that one is another conversation for another day. Sometimes you hear teachers say, let's look at your fat bum bum. I mean, why would a teacher body shame a student? But it's happening in our schools. It's happening in our schools. And unfortunately for us, most of our children carry all of this emotional weight alone. Mostly because home is not a safe place to talk about it. I take you to school to learn, not to make friends. Focus on your books. Do you say these kind of things to your children? If you do, have a change of mind, because, as I've already said, you are already crushing that child. So when a child has no one to process their school experience with, they cannot process their emotion, when no one asks how they are really doing, that emotional weight sits on their chest and affects everything they do, including concentration, confidence, and performance. So you see, it's not about matching shoes and bags, matching lunch boxes and school bags, paying fees in dollars and pounds, and bragging about it to your friends. It's way more than that. School is way more than that. So I've been taken to school to learn, and I'm dealing with XYZ problems that have nothing to do with English and maths. And unfortunately for me as a child, I have no one to discuss these things with, or I do not know how to process my emotions. Do you think I can thrive as a child? I will not even be able to concentrate in class because of the weighty matters on my chest. The weighty matters on my chest. And so as parents, providing emotional support for your children is a non-negotiable. It's not luxurious, it's a non-negotiable. They need it like the way you need money to pay their school fees. They need it like the way they need oxygen to breathe. So yes, it's a non-negotiable. Parents, caregivers, school owners, Sunday school teachers, everyone, it's a non-negotiable. Parents, provide emotional support for your children. They need it more than you think. And I say, oh, Coach Fran, you're a parent's coach. No, I'm also a parent. And I also have to pay attention to these things in the lives of my children. In the lives of my children. So it's not about those who know and those who do not know. It's about all of us. As you are seated in this video learning, I'm also learning. I'm also on a journey, and I want you to begin yours. I've already begun mine, but if you have not started already, I want you to begin yours. Because this is a journey we must all take. And then our final point number 5. Point number 5. Wrong environment at home. Wrong environment at home. Wrong environment at home. In the conversation of parenting, environment is huge. Matter of fact, environment is a topic on its own. You can speak about environment all year long. That is how huge it is. And we are not talking about any environment but the home environment. Because you cannot expect a child to perform at school if the home they return to every day does not support learning. You see, last year I did a class on understanding your child's learning style, and I spoke about these things. This is a good time to buy the replay of that course, sit with it and learn. And we'll be having another learning style course this year too, so get ready. Parents, yes, get ready. Environment is bigger and more important than you think. In as much as you are paying fees in dollars and pounds and cedis, the home environment also matters, because the environment you have at home should support learning. So when there's noise, when there's chaos, when there's no reading culture, when there's no routine, when screens are everywhere, when there's no quiet place to study, these things matter enormously. But unfortunately, we have erased them. And these things, what I've just described, usually during the long back, it's like free bonto for everyone. You see this long back, I have plans for you, parents and children. PBI and LLMA will be organizing a reading challenge for children. 30-day reading challenge. And yes, I'll be providing them with the books and with the tools for 30 good days. We'll be having book reviews as well. And we'll send printouts to parents. A soft copy, you print it, and then we'll hold you and your children accountable. So get ready for us. Vacation is not a chance to behave anyhow or to be routineless. And then when the child goes to school, it's like they are going to school with tabula rasa. No, it's because I'm not prepared as a parent. You didn't put your best foot forward. You didn't plan for the vacation. The school does its part for your children. For 6 hours a day, the school will take hold of your children and teach them. But the home shifts everything. After that 6 hours, the rest of the hours, your children are spending it at home. So if the home environment is wrong, the 6 hours doing in school, it's not going to impact your child's life in any way, shape, or form. It's not going to impact it. Even if it will impact it, it's only academic-wise. Only academic-wise. The teachers and the school can put their best foot forward. But if the home environment is not set up to reinforce learning, the school efforts will always have a ceiling. There will always be a hole in the ceiling from the school, because you are not putting your best effort. Whatever is being taught in schools must be reinforced at home. So that is why you cannot outsource parenting. You cannot reduce it. Ekia, mo he, omedi. My passion, I my homework. My passion, you me ba me for now be get na me why. And then you can one mother, you ekia nyame my ochina. Also koda wa bre. You cannot outsource parenting. Because if you have a nanny, do you think your nanny will look at gaps in your children and tell you? She herself, she's always tired. She's looking for shortcuts to rest. It's not as if she's not going to look for gaps and why say, why say. No. It just be yes, ma. No, ma. Ma patron I am ma minye. Ma find a fee. Inshani am yomo. O find a hamini, ma fair my fee home and come cash for a mewo. That is it. And so the onus lies on you as a parent. The onus lies on you. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the work. Children are not part of the important work. They are the important work. And so your home environment matters most. You need to establish routine. You need to establish consistency. So that children, the environment needs to be predictable. It's not, I do what I want to do, it's vacation or any other day. So, whilst the school is teaching, you're not reinforcing, and then you're wondering why the child is not doing well, even though they are smart. Please check your home environment, because there's a lot that goes into the home environment. And just like that, our class has almost come to an end. Which of these points resonated with you? Be honest with yourself, because awareness is always the first step. I'm preparing these classes for you to learn from them and improve the academics of your children. Gone are the days where we say, when parenting, no one knows what they are doing. They are just winging it. There's no manual. Do what works for you. Those days are over. Now there's knowledge. There is knowledge, like what I'm sharing with you now. It's knowledge. It's free knowledge. Make use of it and use it to your advantage. Be a prepared parent, because a child who feels ready walks into school differently. So give them that advantage. Prep your environment. Do what needs to be done as a parent. As a parent. I'm rooting for you. Yes, I'm always rooting for you. So put your best foot forward and get ready for our masterclass too. Till another class next week, take care of yourself and take care of your children. My name is Coach Fran. See you.